Alright. It's time to do a prediction video on possibly the biggest fight of the year. We have Manny Pacquiao, the legend, the 8 division world champion, challenging the current welterweight king by many people, Errol Spence Jr. This is Manny Pacquiao's first fight in over 2 years now. His last fight was an amazing win on July 20th in 2019 against WBA Super Welterweight Champion Keith Thurman. Errol Spence, the last time we saw him in a ring was more recent, in December. We saw him against Danny Garcia after a horrific car crash, and is now looking to add another belt to his collection. This fight will be contested for the WBC and the IBF and the Ring Magazine welterweight championship titles. It will be broadcasted on pay-per-view, Fox Sports pay-per-view at the T-Mobile Arena. This is a fight that has been coming for quite some time. I don't think it's the best fight in the division. I think Errol Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford is the best fight in the division. I think that's number 1 and number 2. But this is probably commercially the biggest fight that can be made in this division, and possibly from any division downwards. I think the only fight that rivals this in terms of commercial popularity is probably Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia. But I digress. We move on to this. This is probably one of the biggest fights of the year, probably the biggest boxing match of the year. It's going to be a very big occasion. Manny Pacquiao will be coming into this fight for the first time in quite some time as the underdog, being out of the ring for 2 years and now being 42 years old, which for a normal boxer would probably signal the end of their career. But as we know, Manny Pacquiao is not a normal boxer. Manny Pacquiao is a living legend of the sport, and he needs to be respected. Errol Spence earned his title in 2017 when he defeated Kell Brook, defended his title twice, I believe. One in a big blockbuster pay-per-view against Mikey Garcia, earned the WBC title against Showtime Sean Porter in the Staples Center, September 28th. And after that, he suffered a massive car crash. Many people were debating, is he going to be there for the same again? He came back December 2020 against Danny Garcia, and he put on a great performance in the pay-per-view event. I think the strength advantage lies with Spence here. And I'm going to be a bit of a hot take here. I think Pacquiao and Spence, their power is pretty much equal. Keith Thurman said Pacquiao's hands were like bricks, and Chris Algieri said Pacquiao hits harder than Spence. But that was quite some time ago, before Mayweather versus Pacquiao. This is a really, really interesting fight. This is a very interesting fight. The winner of this fight is indisputably the best welterweight in the world. He may not be the most physically skilled. I think that goes to Terence Crawford. But in terms of accomplishments, in terms of his competition, that whoever wins this will go to number 1. If Manny Pacquiao wins this fight, he goes down as possibly top 10 all-time great pound-for-pound fighters of all time. I think he would rank above Floyd Mayweather at this point. If Errol Spence wins this, I think he goes into top 3 pound for pound. And it's a good, very, very solid win for his resume. The best win of his career. There's a lot of reward for winning this. For winning this fight, there's a lot of reward. This is a tougher one to call than most people would say. Pacquiao has never really dealt someone with the volume punching in recent times, and the accuracy of Errol Spence. He's got great timing, got great ring sense, great jab, good volume in the ring, good footwork to cut people off, good combination punches, good body puncher, and good respectable power. Manny Pacquiao, in terms of Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence has never faced someone as quick as Manny Pacquiao, quicker foot, with hand speed, or never have faced anyone with the angles that Pacquiao creates. This is a very difficult style for both of them. And even at 42, I feel like Pacquiao is still got a very respectable speed. How do I see this fight playing out? I see this fight beginning quite cagey. I think Spence will probably nick some of the earlier rounds just with his volume alone. Because even in the early stages of fights, Spence is known for his volume punching. I think Pacquiao has success. I think he gets into the fight a little more, gets into a bit of a groove, begins landing his famous combinations. And I feel like he will even up the score by the time the mid-rounds come. But then I feel Errol Spence, his superior conditioning, because Pacquiao is quite old now. Spence's superior conditioning, stamina, combination punches will begin to overwhelm Pacquiao. And even though Pacquiao, I feel, will do a good effort, I feel like Pacquiao will begin to fade. He can work on his conditioning all he likes. At this age, he's not going to have the same edge. And I feel like Pacquiao, with Spence's combined aggression and combination punches, Pacquiao will begin to fade a little bit and Spence will begin to take a little bit of an advantage. So, overall winner, I pick Spence overall to win by a 8-4 round unanimous decision. 8-4 round, maybe a very late stoppage, but I've had to put money on it. Pacquiao's got good enough a chin to survive. I don't think Spence has got one punch power like people like Juan Manuel Marquez. I feel like Spence will beat Pacquiao in a 8-4 kind of fight. And Pacquiao will ride off into the sunset, and seeing Pacquiao retire will be a very sad day for the sport, because this could be his very final fight. We'll look back on his tremendous career if he does decide to go off into the sunset. He faced all comers. When he was a prime fighter, he was facing legends, and now when he's a legend, he's facing prime fighters. It's respectable and you have to admire it. And anyone that doesn't, I think he's slightly delusional. So, overall pick, I would probably say Spence by a competitive but convincing unanimous decision. And I think whoever wins this should go on to first unify the Ugas, and then they do the final piece of the puzzle with Terence Crawford. And if I had to pick a winner with any of them, I think Terence Crawford comes out as the king of the division. He's aging. Crawford's time is not on his side, but I still feel like he's got enough in the toolbox to deal with all of these people. Even though these are all great fighters, I think Crawford's a special talent. But Spence Jr. is a beast, and Pacquiao is an absolute legend. Let's not get that twisted. Thank you for listening to my prediction. I'll see